This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, the wildfire is burning out of control in Silverado Canyon. 1,500 acres have been burned so far.
No relief from this September sizzle. If you think it was hot today, get ready. Dallas says it's going to get even worse.
Another scandal rocks the NFL. One of the league's biggest stars, ADRIAN, indicted tonight for reckless injury to a child. Good evening, I'm Ellen Leva.
I'm Mark Brown. David and Colleen are off tonight. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. We have live team coverage of that fire. Meteorologist Alan Rains has the latest on the extreme heat and fire danger, and we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell live in Silverado Canyon. Amy.
And Mark, much of the day this area was under voluntary evacuation orders, so a lot of people did leave earlier today, but tonight those orders are now mandatory for the evacuations, and that is because the wind has shifted. Now we want to go up to a live picture from Air 7 where you can see the flames are still shooting up. This fire is not laying down at all. Firefighters have a lot of resources devoted to trying to slow down this fire. Now right now there's no immediate threat to homes, but as a precaution, the Sheriff's Department has gone door to door telling people to leave. Now, fire officials say this blaze in Silverado Canyon has now consumed about 1,500 acres. Those are new figures we just got from fire officials, and there is still no containment. Firefighters have attacked the blaze aggressively from the air. They've got 2 of those massive DC-10s dropping retardant and water on the flames, along with 4 other fixed-wing aircraft. Now, the fixed-wing planes have been grounded for the night, but this battle is continuing. Bulldozers and hand crews will be cutting lines all night. And there are nearly 300 firefighters on duty at this hour trying to get as much work done as possible before morning, when more very hot weather is expected again. Now, that shift in the winds that I mentioned has the fire moving downslope, which officials say is normal fire behavior in these conditions. We know a number of Canyon residents, as I mentioned earlier, did evacuate. Many evacuated their animals earlier today. Again, all this is as a precaution, and as we come back out here live, we know there's only one injury that we know of at this point. That was to a firefighter, and officials tell us that was a heat-related injury. That firefighter has been treated and is expected to be okay. But again, heat is one of the big problems they're going to face tomorrow. Again, it's supposed to be very hot temperatures. So once again, they want to get as much work done as possible tonight, try and slow the spread of this fire before the morning, when that heat could just cause it to rage out of control once again. Reporting live in Silverado Canyon, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Amy, thank you very much. Let's check in with Dallas Rains now with more on this heat.
Ellen, it's going to be even hotter tomorrow down in Orange County. Right now at Van Nuys, it's 89 degrees at 8 o'clock. Humidity working at about 22%. And when we look at all the other areas at this hour, it's still 85 in Ontario and down in Orange County. 79 degrees at Fullerton. Santa Ana is 80. And only patchy fogs expected along the coastline. Tomorrow, temperatures jump right back up over 100 degrees in all areas of Southern California, and that has prompted a heat advisory for all of the OC tonight, including the IE. I'll have the forecast for the weekend in just a minute.
Thank you, Dallas.
Okay, thank you, Ellen.
We want to help you beat the heat. Download our free Megadoppler weather app to use the same forecasting tools Dallas does right on your own smartphone. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Search all one word, Megadoppler.
New at 8, a warning for people living in West Los Angeles. Surveillance video captured 2 women knocking on several doors, posing as maids seeking work. If the homes were unoccupied, the women would call over 3 men who would then break in and ransack the home. Police say the people are responsible for several burglaries in the West LA area and surrounding communities. The suspect vehicle is a 4-door white, newer model Buick Enclave.
Watch out what's happening in your community. If you notice a car that looks a little out of place, if you notice people lingering around that you usually know don't belong in that area, give us a call. We will be more than happy to respond to the location and take a good look.
Police say the burglars take anything from money to passports to electronic devices.
15 years to life in prison. That's the sentence for a man from Orange County convicted of killing his roommate, an Iraq War veteran. Eyewitness News reporter Greg Lee explains during his sentencing today, Kwang Choi claimed his innocence.
Family wants me to apologize, which I cannot apologize for something I haven't done. Kwang Choi Joy, or KC Joy, maintaining his innocence moments before hearing his sentence. In July, a jury found him guilty of the second-degree murder of 36-year-old Army veteran Maribel Ramos. Ramos, who was about to graduate from Cal State Fullerton, went missing in May of 2013. Her body was discovered 2 weeks later in a shallow grave in Santiago Canyon. Joy, her roommate, was arrested a short time later.
Mr. Joy needs to be put away for life. He is an evil man and a coward that should never be forgiven.
Ramos's family trying to hold back tears in the courtroom before the judge sentenced Joy to 15 years to life in prison.
Happy that justice has been served. It's been tough.
Joy's request for a new trial was also denied. While addressing the court today, he continued to say how much he loved his roommate and friend.
I miss Maribel more than anyone. I think about it. I've been here about 440 days in the jail. Think about it almost every day.
Mr. Joy sent dozens of letters to the judge declaring his innocence. He also wrote one to Eyewitness News on Sunday saying the same thing.
Maybe someday tree will come up. Maybe I'll just die into the prison.
In his letter to us, Mr. Joy also said he is writing a book entitled Suspect, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. Reporting in Santa Ana, Greg Lee, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The man who pled guilty to fatally shooting 8 people in a Seal Beach hair salon wants to get on with his punishment. Scott DeCry spoke out in court today, refusing to have the penalty phase of his trial delayed. This despite his attorney's request for a continuance until December. DeCry told the judge, quote, "These people deserve justice. I have been convicted of these crimes. The people of Seal Beach have waited patiently," end quote. After his statement, the judge set the trial for next month.
A South African judge has found Oscar Pistorius guilty of culpable homicide in the shooting death of his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. The verdict comes one day after the same judge declared him not guilty of murder. Under South African law, culpable homicide is roughly the equivalent of manslaughter. Pistorius faces up to 15 years in prison. However, the final sentence is up to the judge. Pistorius' uncle talked to reporters after the verdict.
A tragic event like this, there's no victors in this. It won't bring Reva back, but our hearts will go out for her family and friends.
As the Blade Runner, as he's called, left the courtroom, a large crowd gathered to get a look at him. Pistorius will be sentenced next month. Prosecutors say they want to hear what that sentence is before deciding whether to appeal the verdict.
Another crushing blow for the NFL. Another pro football star under fire tonight. Minnesota Vikings star Adrian Peterson has been indicted for reckless injury to a child. ABC's Ron Claiborne has details.
Tonight, another NFL bombshell. Minnesota Vikings superstar running back Adrian Peterson indicted, charged with reckless or negligent injury to a child. Sources say the indictment stems from rough discipline of a minor with a switch or a stick. The Vikings in a statement say they are investigating. All of this more bad news for NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, already reeling from the fallout of Ray Rice's caught-on-tape assault on his wife Janae. Goodell today telling the NFL Players Association that in June, Rice told him a starkly different story about what happened in that elevator than the brutal video reveals. Goodell has made that claim before.
When we met with Ray Rice and his representatives, it was ambiguous about what actually happened.
But according to ESPN, multiple sources say Rice actually told Goodell point blank that he punched his then-fiancée, Janae. The NFL has still not responded to that report. And tonight, professional football and its embattled commissioner facing a new test. Sunday, Carolina Panthers' Greg Hardy, recently convicted of assaulting his ex-girlfriend, will take the field. 911 calls obtained by ESPN's Outside the Lines tell a chilling story.
Okay, what's going on? Domestic violence. Some girl's getting her ass beat upstairs, and I heard it, and I seen it. We need the police here now, before this girl gets seriously hurt. Now.
In court documents, the victim says, Hardy pulled me from the tub by my hair, screaming at me that he was going to kill me. And Hardy picked me up over his head and threw me onto a couch covered with assault rifles. She says she had bruises from head to toe. Hardy was convicted in July and sentenced to probation. He's appealing, and neither the NFL nor the Panthers have punished him at all. So much pressure on the league tonight.
When will these people get it? When will they understand that this Ray Rice story is resonating unlike any story we've ever seen in the National Football League?
That was ABC's Ron Claiborne reporting. Tonight, Peterson's attorney says the football player is cooperating with investigators and says Peterson never intended to harm his son and regrets the unintentional injuries.
The CIA says the militant group ISIS now has up to 31,000 fighters. Intelligence reports estimate ISIS can muster that many fighters from across Iraq and Syria. That's up from a previous estimate of 10,000. The new assessment is based on a review of intelligence reports from May to August. The CIA attributes the increase to recent battlefield successes and stronger recruitment. Yesterday, 10 Mideast allies, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, and Lebanon, agreed to join the United States in its fight against ISIS.
U.S. and the European Union slapped Russia with new sanctions. Those sanctions are aimed at Russian banks, defense companies, and the energy sector. U.S. and Europe making the move because of concern about the fragile ceasefire. Last week, Ukraine and Russian-backed separatists signed the ceasefire, but it has been routinely violated. U.S. officials say there is no sign Russia is implementing the deal.
An update on the Silverado Canyon brush fire when we come back.
Plus, George Zimmerman back in the headlines tonight. He's accused of threatening to kill someone and then showing up at that person's job. Plus this.
You're only 9 years old. We think about you. We are worried about you.
The children of the gun instructor accidentally killed by a young girl with an Uzi have sent her a touching message.
The new school attendance report that's raising serious concerns.
You are looking at the live pictures here of the Silverado Canyon fire. It has now grown to some 1,500 acres. And just in the last couple of hours, a mandatory evacuation order has been placed on the homes from the 30,500th block heading east on Silverado Canyon Road. The firefight is continuing into the night. The planes have been grounded, but during the day we saw the DC-10s and a couple of other fixed-wing aircraft dropping Phos-Chek to try to slow the advance of the fire, which at this point is 0% contained.
Other news now, the children of the shooting instructor who was accidentally killed by a 9-year-old in Arizona are speaking out. They have a special message for the little girl who pulled the trigger, and ABC's Brandy Hitt reports.
We don't know your name, but we are connected by this tragedy.
A moving message from one family to another.
Like you, we are living through this tragic event that we cannot shut off.
Charles Vaca's 4 children writing this heartfelt letter to the 9-year-old girl who accidentally shot and killed the weapons instructor last month.
All right, go ahead and give me one shot.
Vaca standing next to her at this Arizona gun range when the Uzi recoiled, pointing upward.
You're only 9 years old. We think about you. We are worried about you. We pray for you.
It was important for them to express how badly they feel about her circumstances.
Just weeks after losing their father, their message wasn't just to the little girl, but the world, about what kind of father Vaca was.
Our dad wasn't just an instructor. He was funny, strong, a protector.
We wish you peace. Our dad would want the same thing.
This shooting has raised questions about how young is too young for children to handle weapons. Prosecutors aren't filing criminal charges, but the Vaca family's attorneys are investigating.
The number one goal from the family's perspective is to get answers,
while also leaving this message of forgiveness.
Someday we hope we can meet you, hug you, and tell you that it's okay.
Charles Vaca's children say their father would have also wanted the 9-year-old to move on with her life and not let this moment define her. Brandy Hitch, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The man acquitted of the murder of Trayvon Martin is back in the news after police are investigating a possible road rage incident in Lake Mary, Florida. Police released this video of George Zimmerman being questioned. The alleged victim says Zimmerman threatened to kill him after the initial incident and then waited for him at work the next day. Investigators say Zimmerman admitted exchanging words with the man. The man didn't press charges. Zimmerman has had a number of run-ins with the law since he was acquitted in the Trayvon Martin case. In Ohio, this convicted school shooter is back in custody after escaping from prison. TJ Lane was one of 3 inmates who scrambled over a fence on Thursday. One inmate was caught immediately. A second was captured a few hours later. The 19-year-old Lane was caught early this morning about 100 yards away from the prison. In 2012, Lane shot and killed 3 students at his high school in northeastern Ohio.
An owl is free and back in the wild thanks to the LA Animal Services Smart Rescue Team. Animal Services posted the rescue on YouTube. The great horned owl somehow got inside a warehouse in Canoga Park and couldn't find its way out. Workers tried to shoo it outside, but that didn't work. They called for help, and that's when the Smart team showed up. They used a net launcher to catch the owl. Here it is again. Owl was not hurt at all, and after the Smart team successfully caught the owl, members checked it out to make sure it was okay. They then took it outside and let it fly off.
I think we would all like to fly off to someplace cool. Dallas Strange is here now looking at the heat wave.
That's right. Let's fly down to the beach. But even tonight at the coastal zones is still quite warm. Look at Santa Ana's at 80 degrees, 79 at Fullerton. The coolest of all the microclimates this afternoon, this evening, is 66 degrees at Oxnard, but it's 85 out in Ontario. So tonight, just a little bit of marine layer fog right on the coastline. That will be it. And then we're really going to crank the temperatures up again tomorrow for the firefighters down in Orange County. Unfortunately, the heat advisory will stay with us all the way through Monday, and that includes all of the San Gabriel Valley and back in the San Fernando Valley also. So the heat wave is here, and it's going to stay for a while. Now, Saturday's record high downtown is 106, set way back in 1971. I don't think we're going to make that, but on Sunday, the record-breaking high is 100, and we will be close to that on the downtown thermometer. Okay, here's what it looks like down at Long Beach tonight. Skies are still clear. Beautiful night down at Long Beach. People enjoying a wonderful time down on the coastline. 73 downtown right now, which is very comfortable, but Riverside still at 83 degrees tonight. Looking at Malibu this evening, you can see how clear it is. There are no marine layer clouds at all. It was 91 degrees downtown. As far as the satellite view goes, high pressure moving very slowly. It's sitting right on top of Southern California. It's not going to move until probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. At that time, we'll start to see some moisture come up from the southeast, and we have a chance of rain in the forecast. It's been one of those years where we've had a lot of tropical weather to the south of us, and Odile is down there tonight with winds of about 65 miles per hour, and it's going to move northwestward over the weekend, and by Sunday afternoon, we'll be producing rain over the Cabo area, and eventually some of that is going to make it into Southern California. But here are the highs for Saturday afternoon. A really hot day in Santa Clarita at 105. And Encino, you're not much better at 101. Look at those beach temperatures tomorrow. 85 Huntington, 84 down at Dana Point, and 105 Riverside. Excessive heat advisory is up there. Here's the 7-day forecast. 92 And then on Sunday is probably the hottest day of the next 7-day period. But on Monday and Tuesday, it's still hot, no relief. And then by Thursday of next week, what's left over from Odile starts moving northbound into Southern California. And we actually have a chance of scattered showers in the forecast, but a really hot weekend. And then for the mountain areas, your chances of rain do increase as we get into Thursday. So, excessive heat advisories are still up tonight. We'll have another forecast for you and check it out in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dallas.
Thanks.
A new report on elementary school attendance is raising some serious concern. It shows the truancy rate among African American students is significantly higher than the rest of the student population. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes looks at the numbers.
Elementary school students, young, energetic, and packed with potential. But Attorney General Kamala Harris says a huge swath of California's youngest students are skipping school and heading straight toward trouble.
Some of our elementary school students are missing more than 1 month of the entire school year. The rates continue to be unacceptably high. We must fix this crisis.
Harris is pushing hard for a set of 4 bills aimed at improving school attendance rates statewide. She says California is just one of 4 states that don't gather and study truancy data of individual students. Skipping school, education officials say leads to dropping out, which in return leads to lives of crime.
We want graduation, not incarceration.
Children who miss school, unexcused absences, or miss a lot of school in the early grades, these children are flashing red lights.
Harris says the statistics point to a very troubling trend, that African American elementary school students are chronically truant at an alarming rate.
It was a truancy rate at over 2.5 times that of white students. Higher truancy rates than even homeless students in California.
Harris's camp says setting up a statewide system to track students' attendance would cost just $130,000, with 1 out of every 5 elementary school students deemed chronically truant, and numbers that are even higher in LA County. Harris is quick to issue a demerit.
That's a failing grade.
In East LA, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Coming up, back off the breadsticks. That's the message to Olive Garden. We'll tell you who wants to limit the unlimited appetizer.
Plus, millions of people can't wait to take a bite out of Apple's new iPhone. How some customers have been encountering big problems buying the new smartphones.
It looks like voters may not get to split California into 6 states after all. A proposed ballot measure to do just that has failed to qualify for the November 2016 ballot. The Secretary of State's office reports only 66% of the signatures that were submitted were projected to be valid. Excuse me, Silicon Valley venture capitalist Tim Draper submitted the signatures as part of an effort he says would give better representation for Californians. Critics said the plan would have separated the wealthiest and poorest Californians, potentially creating some of the poorest states in the nation.
Slow going today for some customers trying to order Apple's new iPhone 6 and the larger iPhone 6 Plus. Many couldn't even access Apple's website. Pre-order snafus are common for iPhones, and many are expecting the new smartphones could be Apple's best-selling ever. The bigger iPhone 6 Plus is already in high demand. While the first shipment of the new phones are expected to reach consumers a week from today, it could take from 3 to 6 weeks for orders placed today to be filed. And is Olive Garden too free and easy with the breadsticks? One hedge fund thinks so. The fund, it should be noted, is trying to gain control of the board of Olive Garden's parent company. In a nearly 300-page report on what it thinks is wrong with Olive Garden, the fund zeroes in on the breadstick issue. It's not opposed to the unlimited breadstick policy, but it says servers bring out too many, leading to waste, and that anyway, after 7 minutes, the breadsticks deteriorate in quality. The report also questioned Olive Garden's liberal use of salad dressing.
Well, coming up, we are updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30.
Including an update on the out-of-control wildfire burning in Orange County and hot, dry conditions. Plus, Dallas will have an update on our heat wave.
And a victory for a local family that nearly lost everything over a bank loan. Stay with us.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Our top story at 8:30, an uncontained wildfire is burning in Orange County's Silverado Canyon. I'm Mark Brown.
I'm Ellen Leva. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Our 7 HD is giving us a live bird's-eye view of the massive fire. It has scorched 1,500 acres and is burning eastward. The forward spread has stopped at the top of the main divide and Bedford motorway. Nearly 300 firefighters, planes with fire retardant, and 4 water-dropping helicopters are battling the blaze.
Mandatory evacuations are in effect for homes east of 30,331 Silverado Canyon Road. The Red Cross has opened a shelter at El Medina High School.
241 Toll Road is open. Meteorologist Dallas Raines is here with the latest on the heat wave and the fire weather. Dallas?
Thanks, Ellen. Well, conditions have improved down in Orange County. A couple of things. Temperatures are going down a little bit tonight, but at the same time, the relative humidity in the fire area is also increasing. We're up to 50% at Fullerton. It's about 45% in the fire zone. Also, higher humidities can be seen around Oxmoor. That's why tonight there could be some patchy, dense fog for viewers and friends up in the Ventura County area. But temperatures are really going to be hot again tomorrow. Right now, it's still 80 degrees down at Santa Ana. As I mentioned, it's cooling a little bit in Orange County, but an excessive heat warning is in effect. Mark, Ellen, back to you.
All right, Dallas Raines,
Okay.
thanks. Let's head outside now. Let's look for a live picture. This is LAX, and it should be one of the cooler areas. Probably is tonight. Now, with this scorcher, the DWP is asking everyone to conserve energy and keep the grid from getting overloaded. And here are some things you can do. Set your thermostat to 78 degrees during the hottest hours of the day. It will be a little warm, a little uncomfortable, but it's a lot better than if the power goes out. That would, of course, take out your AC. If you can, go out to someplace air-conditioned, a movie theater, a library, a restaurant, and give your own air conditioner a rest. Try to run major appliances in the evening when power demand is lower, and ventilate your home by opening windows and doors in the early morning and evening. Our free ABC7 Megadoppler app can put the weather information you need in the palm of your hands no matter where you are. You'll get weather warnings, alerts, 7-day forecasts, and more. Download the app for free in the App Store or from Google Play.
Tonight, family and friends of former local high school students killed in a horrific crash are coming together to grieve. 3 people were killed, 2 others injured when their truck flew off a roadway in Santa Clarita overnight. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter is live at John Burroughs High School in Burbank, where a vigil is set to get underway. Leanne?
Ellen, friends and former classmates of those victims here at John Burroughs High are in shock tonight. As you said, 3 of their former classmates are dead tonight. 2 others seriously hurt. You see live behind me here, they've set up a small memorial to honor all of those victims. All of them graduated from school in 2013. Now, this was the scene early this morning as rescue crews airlifted the 2 survivors of that violent crash. Investigators say one of the survivors called 911 around 7:30, but they believe that the crash actually happened sometime between midnight and 2 a.m. and that survivor who called apparently didn't regain consciousness for several hours. Now, investigators say the truck plunged 200 feet off Rush Canyon Truck Road near Sierra Highway in Santa Clarita Canyon. Friends identify the 3 who died as Jake Nasso, Ian Bulbenko, and April Townsend. Again, all 3 graduated from Burroughs High in 2013. Now, the CHP says the driver was apparently driving erratically and lost control of the truck. They're investigating if alcohol or other factors were involved in that crash. Back live now, another look at the memorial here that's beginning to grow. A vigil set to begin in about an hour or so here at the high school. Now, we're told the 2 survivors both suffered moderate injuries, but both are expected to survive. But again, a lot of heavy hearts here tonight after they lost 3 of their classmates, I should say, and 2 others seriously hurt. Live in Burbank, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Leanne, thank you. California State Senator Roderick Wright has been sentenced to 90 days in LA County Jail for perjury. Wright was convicted in February of lying about his residence so he could run for office in a new district. In addition to jail time, he was ordered to complete 1,500 hours of community service and 3 years probation. The 62-year-old Inglewood Democrat was suspended from the Senate after being convicted and is no longer eligible to hold public office in California.
Community leaders and lawmakers held a meeting in Exposition Park to discuss solutions to prevent and reduce police brutality. NAACP sponsored the hearing. The civil rights group says it's concerned about what it calls over-aggressive policing of young Black and Latino men in California. This is the wrong video, obviously. Today's hearing was held at the California African American Museum.
The mother of a missing USC med student is making a desperate plea for the public's help to find him. Derek Seehausen was last seen the night of August 5th walking north along the 2000th block of Alvarado Street. At a news conference, a private investigator hired by his family retraced Derek's last steps before he vanished. Investigators are also following up on photos taken on September 5th of a man who resembles the medical student and a sighting of someone fitting his description seen shuffling along Pacific Coast Highway 2 days ago.
I think that this is our best and last hope for finding him. This is an unimaginable nightmare for our family. We don't understand it. It isn't at all. If you took 1,000 people, Derek would be the last person that you would think would do this.
Friends have created a website. They've also set up a Facebook and Twitter account in their search for Derek Seehausen. If you have seen him, you're asked to call the LAPD at 213-996-1800.
Napa Valley is getting federal funding now that President Obama has declared the area a major disaster. Last month, a 6.0 quake struck Napa County in the middle of the night. The overall damage to the area is estimated at more than $400 million. Also, new 911 tapes are just being released. You can hear dispatchers trying to calm panicked callers in the minutes after the quake.
Is there a rupture or is it just a smell? There's just a smell, but I think it was a rupture. We just had an earthquake in the house, so
I can't get out of my apartment. They're stuck in front of both doors.
Okay, ma'am, are you injured?
I can't move them.
Are you injured?
I'm kind of worried about my heart. I'm really frightened.
Okay, take a deep breath for me. I'm going to go ahead and get help started.
On Wednesday, a 65-year-old woman died from head injury she suffered in the quake.
A Southern California couple has won a $39 million civil verdict against a Pasadena-based bank. It all began when the bank foreclosed on a commercial property the couple owned in Rancho Cucamonga. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan has the details and reaction from Rancho Cucamonga.
They're lying to us and they cheated to us.
Struggle is nothing new to Chung Fon Yik and his family, suffering under the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia, then fleeing in the 1980s, coming to the U.S. with practically nothing.
I arrived in the United States. I have $34 in my pocket.
For years, they flipped properties, but this development in Rancho Cucamonga was to be their family legacy.
It was going to be left to their children and their grandchildren.
Attorney Robert Curtis says Yik and his wife wanted to run the gas station, their daughter a coffee shop, another family member would operate the hotel. They got their financing through East West Bank of Pasadena.
I certainly think the conduct of the bank was found to be despicable.
Curtis says the bank might not have done anything criminal, but says they basically forced the family to put every last penny of their own money into the property and then refused to extend their loan, instead selling the note to the property to another investor.
It was devastating to see my parents who put everything into this project, to see them go through this.
With no other options, the Yik family sued. Now, 3 years later, victory. They may not own the property anymore, but an LA County jury has decided East West Bank should pay them $39 million.
I'm very happy with the jury that they saw dishonor about the bank was.
To be able to restore their faith in America, in the justice system, a place where there are laws and things that you cannot get away with, was very gratifying.
And we reached out to East West Bank both yesterday and today by phone and email. So far, we have not heard back. Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Back to school means an increased chance of your kids getting sick.
But colds and flu aren't all your children are facing. Closer look up next.
And families torn apart, but tonight some extra special reunions.
Is the United States ready to handle a nationwide viral pandemic? According to the Office of the Inspector General, the answer is no. Congress gave the Department of Homeland Security $47 million to prepare for the possibility of a pandemic or an outbreak. But according to a recent audit, the money was spent on supplies and equipment that is either worthless, missing, or unnecessary. For example, the audit report found 4,000 bottles of expired hand sanitizer in the DHS's storage facility. The Office of the Inspector General says it's imperative for Homeland Security to focus on essential preparations for a possible pandemic.
And as kids head back to school, there are more opportunities for them to get sick and catch a bug. A local pediatrician gives us strategies to help keep children and everyone else in the family healthy. And here's health specialist Denise Tador.
Stick out your tongue. Say ah.
Just a few weeks into school, and 12-year-old Isabella Venus got caught up in an early wave of illness.
I had body pains, like on my back and my chest, and I would get like runny noses, I would cough.
A recent outbreak of an unusually harsh cold virus has many parents on high alert.
As soon as she talked about the body aches, I became very concerned.
A quick listen tells pediatrician Danelle Fisher what she needs to know.
She has some kind of viral upper respiratory infection.
While enterovirus 68 continues to sicken thousands of kids across the country, Dr. Fisher reminds parents other common back-to-school bugs can cause just as much illness, if not more.
Unfortunately, measles has made a comeback. Whooping cough has made a comeback. And we really were doing a great job of controlling these diseases with proper, timely vaccinations.
She blames the increase on parents skipping or stretching out childhood immunizations. Another illness making its rounds early this school year, hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Fever for a couple of days. Usually the fever's relatively high. It could be 102 or higher. Not a lot of other symptoms. And then they break out with a rash on the hands and the feet and in the mouth.
It's too early to tell how bad the flu will hit Southern California, but Dr. Fisher says now is the time to start scheduling your flu shot. She says the best way to prevent colds, flu, and other infections is with thorough and consistent hand washing.
I'm a big fan of soap and water. I find it to be the best and the most effective.
And cough and sneeze into your elbow. The other important way to prevent the spread of germs, stay home if you're sick.
I'm going to wash my hands and not touch my eyes, ears, and nose.
And drink lots of water and rest, right?
Denise Tador, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Today wrapped up Family Reunification Week at the courthouse in Monterey Park. Parents were granted custody of their children who were removed from their homes. While this week shined a light on the reunions, they actually happen all year round. Parents are understandably grateful to have their kids back and their cases finally closed.
Our lives had gotten better due to counseling services and social workers helping me direct my kids and my life. And I'm also doing other counseling, and I'm grateful to have my kids back today.
The courts reunite about 6,000 families in Los Angeles County every year.
I get ready for a weekend of blistering heat. Dallas Raines is up next with details.
Also ahead, we'll have an update on that big Santiago Canyon fire.
Plus in sports, why several suspended NFL players will be back on the gridiron as soon as this weekend. We'll have that story coming up.
I meant Silverado Canyon, and it's one of the rarest gems in the world. You can check it out. We'll show you how straight ahead. Here's a live picture again from the Silverado Canyon fire in Orange County. It is still at 1,500 acres and growing, 0% contained. People who have livestock are advised that an animal evacuation site is open at the Orange County Fairgrounds. You're asked to call first. And they're saying that pets are not allowed at the Red Cross shelter that's serving as an evacuation center, and mandatory evacuations have been ordered. Small pets can be taken to the Orange County Animal Shelter. That's in the city of Orange. That information available from the Orange County Office of Emergency Services on their website.
Right now, let's get to Dallas Rains because he has the latest on this heat wave that is going to continue for quite some time.
That's right, Ellen, all through the weekend. But tonight, I do have some good news from down in the OC. It's 80 degrees right now down at Irvine, so temperatures on the fire line are still running about 84, 85, but the humidity is increasing. It's 79% right now in Irvine and about 50% out on the fire line. So we're getting a little bit of help from Mother Nature. High pressure, though, is very strong tonight. We saw this coming the middle part of the week, early part of the week, and now it's sitting right on top of Southern California. It's going to remain that way all the way through the weekend, even on Monday. Now, we're watching a tropical storm down to the south, Odile, and it is going to be making its way northbound, and when it does, by Wednesday or Thursday of next week, we're going to see a flow come out of the south, and that is going to transport some moisture into Southern California. The temperatures will finally go down, and we even have a chance of some rain. There's another great shot of Odile tonight. Winds are 65 miles per hour, so it's not quite a hurricane. We need to get up to about 74 sustained, but it is going to make hurricane force and will be off of Cabo by Sunday night. So I am forecasting some heavy rain and some squally weather down in southern Baja starting over the weekend. So just in case you're headed down that area, you can keep up with the latest advisories because you will get some wind and some rain. Be nice to get some rain in Northridge tomorrow. It's not going to happen. It's going to be 104 and sunny tomorrow, 99 in Glendale. Pasadena, about 100 degrees tomorrow. And down on the coastline at Dana Point in the mid-80s, and only patchy dense fog. That will be it. And once you're going out into the IE tomorrow, temperatures of 105 to 106 at Lake Elsinore. Let's roll up the 7-day forecast. So the heat wave is going to be extended right on into Monday. We'll see a little bit cooler by Wednesday, and then that tropical moisture arrives on Thursday. And if my forecast comes to fruition, it is going to be really welcome because temperatures will finally drop from 106 on Sunday and Monday all the way down into the upper 80s, even in the valley area. So let's hope that this comes true and we get the rain and maybe some light showers. If you're going to be in the mountain areas this weekend, it is spectacular, 77, 79, and 80. But then as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, I'm increasing the possibility of rain, and we could even be looking at possible flash flooding with temperatures about 70 degrees. I know flash flooding sounds rough, Ellen and Mark, but it's going to be nice to feel some rain if we can get it next week.
Okay, Dallas, thanks. Hopefully we'll get it. Appreciate it. With the season winding down, the Angels and the Dodgers are looking to wrap up a playoff spot. The Halos looking to win a 9th straight game as they take on Houston, while Big Blue is in a big series with the Giants in the Bay Area. We will have all your highlights on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. And just days before the start of the NFL season, Denver wide receiver Wes Welker was suspended for 4 games. The day after the NFL Players Association approved a new drug policy that allows testing for HGH, the receiver's ban was overturned and Welker can play this Sunday. The new policy significantly increases the threshold for positive marijuana tests, which allowed Cleveland receiver Josh Gordon to see his year-long suspension get reduced to 10 games. College football, we'll have a triple header tomorrow here on ABC7 or your Watch ABC mobile app. Sports Zone will follow the Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Ralph Fukuzaki will be joined in studio by Mike Sherrard and former Trojan and Buffalo Bill Chris Hale, who will be subbing for Rodney Peete. Now a look at hockey with the Kings camp opening in a matter of weeks. The Cup was back on the road for a final few visits, greeting the mayor and company down at City Hall. That was followed by a trip to LAPD Central Division headquarters, where some of LAPD's finest were able to snap a couple of pictures with the Cup. Luke Robitaille was also on hand to show officers how to raise it appropriately.
Those are the guys that help us when we have a parade, you know. They're right there for us, and, you know, we're so glad that we're able to share the cup with everybody that helps us and protect us. They're like all the other fans. I mean, there's something special. It is the greatest trophy in sport, the hardest one to win, and when you see it, it's just absolutely incredible. And I think the reception here today is just everybody's just as enamored as anybody would be in Canada or in Slovakia.
Now we head to Atlanta, where the PGA Tour Championship event is going on this week. This is Rory McIlroy on the 14th hole. Tee shot is off to the right a little bit, and he wondered where'd the ball go after it hit a tree. Well, it turned out it was a golf ball in the side pocket of that guy wearing the red shirt. After dropping the ball, McIlroy ended up hitting the ball into the green and saving par. Rory's tied for second place at 6 under.
Unveiling today of a rare blue flawless diamond at the Natural History Museum. The so-called Blue Moon diamond is worth nearly $26 million. It was just unearthed at the beginning of the year, and it's on loan to the museum. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory was there for an early peek and has this report.
You can find gemstones of almost every size and shape here, Mother Nature's masterpieces, on display at the Natural History Museum. But no display shines quite as brightly as this, the Blue Moon diamond.
The color, absolutely the color. First of all, it's the color. It's a vivid blue, but it's a very special vivid blue. And then it's internally flawless, so that was important to us.
12 carats of flawless blue diamond perfection, cut to shine and sparkle from almost every angle. Purchased by Cora International. The diamond was mined in South Africa and actually started out as 29.6 carats of rough stone.
Obviously heavy insured, because there's always a risk of a diamond blowing up. In this case, it was exciting and thrilling to see the whole process.
Because of its flawless nature, experts say you can't put a price on this diamond, which explains why it's being kept behind these giant steel doors. You don't want to put a price on it, but...
I don't. You know, I just want to sort of be happy that it's finished. My nerves, I can sleep now. I haven't slept in 6 months.
Other stones will glitter and glow, but for now none as bright as the Blue Moon diamond. And for the next year or so, Angelinos will get to see it for themselves. In Exposition Park, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The animal they call the Tasmanian devil needs a new diet to gain weight, according to Australian researchers. The Tasmanian devil is endangered from disease, loss of habitat, and other threats. They're also not reproducing as much as they should, even in captivity. Researchers say part of the problem is the males are too scrawny and the females aren't interested in it.
If a boy's too small, even if he wants to do it, if he knows what to do, sometimes she'll reject him and reject him quite aggressively. So, yeah, it's usually a matter of making sure that boy is good and confident, not knocking his confidence out of the way, but big and strong.
Confidence is important. Researchers say the males are not picky, so females don't need to change their diet.
Interesting. They're so attractive, too. We'll be right back.
There's a new addition at the California Science Center. It's a Boeing FA-18A Hornet. It's now on display on loan from the U.S. Navy. The Hornet was installed on a single pylon. The Science Center is remodeling to expand a collection of air and spacecraft. When the remodeling is finished, the Hornet will be moved inside.
A historic juvenile camp immortalized in a 2006 movie is being torn down for a new $48 million facility. Camp Kilpatrick was built in Malibu in 1962 and it became known for its sports program. Kilpatrick Mustangs football team was the subject of the film Gridiron Gang starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Camp eventually became vilified as an outdated model of juvenile corrections.
Thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8 on LA56. Law & Order SVU is next on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Remember, you can always get your news 24 hours a day by following us on Facebook and Twitter and by downloading our ABC7 app.
Thanks for watching.